The coming climate shock. Imagine living in a city where the streets cool themselves, where buildings drink, recycle, and reuse their own water, where entire neighborhoods float on water or burrow beneath the ice to survive. Sounds like science fiction? It's not. Welcome to the real-world future of urban life, a future being built right now, not by visionaries in labs, but by mayors, architects, engineers, and communities fighting to save their homes from a changing climate. While the news feeds us a steady diet of doom and collapse, climate catastrophe, vanishing cities, environmental despair, something else is happening too. A revolution. Not loud, not flashy, but brilliant. Across the globe, cities are rewriting the rules of survival, not by resisting nature, but by learning from it. This episode, we take you on a global tour of urban resilience. From the desert heat of the Middle East to the rising seas of the Netherlands to the frozen cities of the far north. We'll uncover the technologies, policies, and surprisingly human stories behind how the world's most climate-challenged cities are becoming models for the future. The escalating reality. Let's start with a brutal truth. Cities weren't designed for this. Most of our urban infrastructure was built for a stable climate, predictable seasons, mild extremes, and the occasional storm. That world no longer exists. In India, 2025 saw Delhi reach 52 degrees Celsius, 125 degrees Fahrenheit, shutting down transport and sending thousands to hospitals with heat stroke. In Brazil, floods in Porto Alegre submerged 80% of the downtown area in early 2024, the worst in recorded history. In Canada, wildfires now rage across an area twice the size of Portugal every summer. And in Bangladesh, millions are migrating inland from submerged farmland. Extreme heat, rising seas, megastorms, and polar vortexes are no longer future threats. They're today's headlines. But here's the question: how do we respond? Some cities are doing more than just surviving, they're thriving. Let's head to the deserts first, where some of the most astonishing innovations are hiding in plain sight. Desert dreams, cooling strategies in the heat. 1. Phoenix, Arizona, beating the heat from the ground up. Phoenix isn't just hot, it's a literal oven. Since the 1970s, average summer temperatures have risen by nearly 6 degrees Fahrenheit, 3.3 degrees Celsius. So what do you do when your streets are frying eggs and your nights feel like saunas? You transform the city, starting from the ground. Phoenix is piloting cool pavement programs, special reflective materials applied to asphalt. In some neighborhoods, this has dropped surface temps by up to 15 degrees Fahrenheit. It's also investing in urban forests, planting drought-resistant trees that can survive desert heat and provide shade corridors for pedestrians. There's a plan to plant 100,000 new trees by 2030. And not just any trees, species like Palo Verde and desert willow, which thrive in arid climates. And get this, Phoenix is working on thermal mapping. They're literally scanning the city from satellites and drones to find heat hotspots, targeting them street by street for transformation. What used to be urban death zones are becoming livable zones. 1. Dubai, water-wise in the desert. How do you build a gleaming metropolis in the middle of the desert with less than 100 mm of rain per year? You innovate, obsessively. Dubai now recycles more than 90% of its wastewater, used for irrigation, cooling systems, and even building maintenance. It operates some of the world's largest desalination plants, turning seawater into drinking water for over 3 million residents, a process powered increasingly by solar energy. In high-rise buildings, gray water recycling systems collect water from sinks and showers and reuse it in toilets and air conditioning. And speaking of cooling, Dubai is a global leader in district cooling. Imagine one massive air conditioner supplying cold water to cool entire blocks of buildings, far more efficient than millions of individual AC units. This is not luxury. This is climate survival engineering at scale. 1. Solar cities powering resilience. In arid regions, solar isn't just a bonus. It's an existential lifeline. When the sun is your enemy, you make it your ally. Rising tides, defending against water's fury. 1. Rotterdam, Netherlands, learning to live with water. The Dutch have been fighting the sea for over 1,000 years, but now, instead of resisting water, they're designing with it. Water squares, beautiful public plazas that double as emergency reservoirs during floods. When it rains, they fill with water. When it's dry, they're basketball courts and gathering spots. Floating neighborhoods, like the Schoonship Project, are self-sufficient communities that rise with sea level, built on pontoons and powered by solar. Green roofs and permeable streets allow water to seep into the ground instead of overwhelming drains. Their motto, room for the river. Let water come in, on your terms. 1. New Orleans, USA, healing through nature. After Katrina, New Orleans was broken, but from the ruins rose a bold idea: work with nature. The city has restored over 50 square miles of coastal wetlands, natural barriers that absorb storm surges. It's building bioswales, green alleyways, and rain gardens that pull water back into the earth, recharging aquifers instead of flooding basements. One of its flagship projects, the Mirabeau Water Garden, can hold 10 million gallons of stormwater during peak rains, all while serving as a public park. In New Orleans, the future is soft, green, and surprisingly effective. For countries like Tuvalu or the Maldives, rising seas aren't abstract, they are existential. In Fiji, entire villages are relocating inland, with pre-planned infrastructure, solar grids, and water collection systems. In the Marshall Islands, they're experimenting with elevated coral atoll reconstruction, raising the islands themselves using dredged sand and marine-friendly concrete. Mangrove forests, once cleared, are now being replanted in droves, acting as natural tidal buffers that can reduce wave energy by up to 70%. These aren't rich megacities. These are low-income, high-ingenuity communities literally fighting for every meter of land. Cold comfort, thriving in the deep freeze. 1. Helsinki, Finland. The underground city beneath Helsinki lies another Helsinki, a network of over 200 underground facilities, from shopping malls to data centers to sports complexes, all climate-controlled and energy-efficient. The city's district heating system connects to over 14,000 buildings, using waste heat from power plants and industrial processes. In winter, snow is collected and stored, then melted and used to cool buildings in summer. A perfect closed-loop thermal cycle. 1. Reykjavik, Iceland, living off the earth. Reykjavik might be the most sustainable cold city on Earth. 100% of its electricity comes from renewables, mostly hydro and geothermal. Hot springs deep in the earth heat over 90% of homes, hospitals, and schools. Streets are often warmed by geothermal heat. No snowplows needed. 1. Arctic Russia and Canada, building the unbreakable. In Siberian cities like Yakutsk, average winter temperatures fall below -40 degrees Celsius, colder than the surface of Mars. Buildings are built on stilts to prevent heat from melting the permafrost below, which would destabilize entire neighborhoods. Modular architecture allows fast repairs and replacements in a climate where concrete can crack from the cold. In Canada's far north, passive solar design and super insulation are making off-grid Arctic homes both affordable and warm. These cold weather adaptations are increasingly being exported to places that never thought they'd need them, like Texas, where winter storms are becoming the new norm. The future of urban living. 1. Smart cities. Smarter climate tech is now an ally in the fight for climate resilience. Singapore's Marina Barrage doubles as a dam, a public park, and a smart water control system, using real-time sensors to manage rainfall and tides. In Seoul, the Cheonggyecheon Stream project turned a buried freeway into a revitalized stream, reducing urban temperatures by 35 degrees Celsius. In Barcelona, citywide networks of sensors optimize water use, reduce traffic emissions, and predict overheating zones. AI, IoT, and big data are helping cities predict climate threats and respond before they happen. 1. Urban policy, the hidden superpower. None of this works without policy. In Paris, new laws require every new building to have a green roof or solar panels. In Copenhagen, they've committed to becoming carbon neutral by 2025, and they're actually on track. In Bogota, bicycle highways now account for over 600 kilometers of urban infrastructure. When politicians, planners, and citizens collaborate, amazing things happen. 1. A call to action. Our cities are under siege, but here's the truth. The future of humanity doesn't lie in fear. It lies in design, in collaboration, in brilliance. What if your city could recycle its own air, capture its own rain, regulate its own temperature, and feed its own people? It's not a dream. It's happening now. In pieces, in prototypes, in pilot projects. But it needs us, voters, thinkers, builders, dreamers, to scale it up. This is your invitation. Learn from the cities we've explored today. Take inspiration. Take action. Because adapting isn't optional, it's inevitable. And done right, it can be incredible. Thanks for watching If you learned something new today, hit that subscribe button. And tell us in the comments, what adaptation do you wish your city had? See you in the next episode. No more. Be more.